Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to healthylife.tv. My name's Paul Bursey. My co-presenter is...
Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. Warren Connolly coming to you from Hungary. Rhymes, Warren Connolly from Hungary.
So
welcome.
Today we've I don't know how many parts of this is going to be, probably 2 or 3, maybe 4. It depends how we do it. So it probably won't be very long today, but it's unraveling the nutrition minefield. Now, the reason we wanted to do this was that, you know, as an individual, you're probably sitting there going, well, I see all this information, I see these videos, I see everything else, and there's just so much to take in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how do I know what I'm doing is right? So the easy answer to that is let the professionals have all that worry. Okay, the scientists, the professionals, the nutritionists, the dietitians, let them have all that, and we just make good decisions. All right. So look, hopefully you all want to be fitter. You know, you want your wellness to be topped up, so it's really, really good. And when it comes to choosing foods to eat, we can switch, we can tweak, we can change one food at a time. Okay, and that side of it, the food side is pretty easy. However, what we want the complete thing. Be honest, we do, but we don't want to do the work. And that's cool because, as I said, let the professionals do it. How do you see that, Warren?
How I see it is, you and I had a brief conversation yesterday, and I mentioned to you that growing up in South Africa, people typically seem to be aware of the importance of taking B complex, B vitamins, the complex version of it, because as for adults especially. And you said not in the UK, and I think perhaps for the most part around the world, people don't they don't really want to know. And this call is probably not going to be appealing to the majority of people that might come and listen to our calls, and watch our show and that. But at the end of the day, you and I, we don't necessarily share information and impart our knowledge and our experience to the masses, do we? People are going to pick stuff from here and there, but a lot of what we talk about is not necessarily for everybody. It's maybe for a small niche part of the niche segment of the market space and individuals and people alike. But so what we're going to talk about now is really important. Again, it's like last week's show. We'll be speaking about omega-3 and the importance of omega-3. This is just as important. Not as, I wouldn't say as important as omega-3, but it's important because people need to. I believe people need to have some semblance of understanding as to when a doctor or a nutritionist or a dietitian or a health coach or a personal trainer, for that matter, says to a lifestyle coach like myself, says to you, I recommend you start taking vitamin B complex. Most people are not going to ask me why. They're going to, especially if it's a doctor telling you take vitamin B complex, they're going to just say, okay, fine. And they're not going to ask necessarily why. They're just going to trust what the doctor says. And the doctor has good intentions, obviously. And if anybody that's recommending you take vitamin B complex, they have good intentions. But in my brain, the way my brain thinks as well, I want to know a little bit as to why I'm taking vitamin B complex. I know it's working for me. I know it's doing something good for me. But why? What goodness is it actually doing for my body? And but that's probably why I do what I do, and why you do what you do, is because you want to impart that knowledge with people, and I trust that people are becoming more in tune with the need to understand a little bit deeper, and in terms of what they're eating and what supplements they may be taking and stuff like that, and what it's actually doing for the body. And that's what I'd like to, unravel here and help people to identify, is like, that's why we call it the nutritional minefield, because it is like a minefield.
Yeah.
It really is. There's so many moving parts in the nutrition world, and that all come together, that all serve our bodies and our minds and so forth. But it's important to have a little understanding. We don't have to be doctors at it. We don't have to go and study a nutrition course, but it's important to understand a little bit, and then have some knowledge that you can take with you. And then whenever you're taking something, in the back of your mind, it's doing good for you, but you have an idea as to what goodness it's doing for you. So that in itself will motivate you more to take it continuously and
Absolutely.
consistently, just having that little bit of knowledge.
I think the key also is consistency. Look, you can go to a health shop or wherever it is you get your vitamins or whatever, and go and buy something, but I'll guarantee you that at some stage you'll stop buying them. And one of the biggest things is, for the rest of your life, is the fact that you've got to be reasonably consistent to give yourself the best chance of sailing through life, hopefully, without, too many illnesses and things like that. Because look, at the moment we're bombarded with crap. We shut down, you see it with adverts and whatever. And we don't really want to spend our time looking at all vitamin B complex and breaking it down and things like that. It's confusing, it's time consuming, and it's over our heads. It is. I don't care what anyone says. It's frustrating, and in the end, we can't be bothered. And that's the state that most of us are in. We do, because that's what we do. But generally speaking, we understand that most people are not really interested. It's just the way of life. There's a lot going on, isn't there? I mean, you've got your kids playing, you've got to feed your kids, you've got to go out, you've got to have with the family and whatever, you've got to go to work and that's why it's a minefield. It's a minefield because of the time that you have to invest to find out what it's all about. So hopefully, sorry, go on.
No, carry on. Finish.
No. Please come in. Yeah,
because it reminds me of something that I noticed on one of the social media platforms the other day, and I was reading a post and then comments, like more than 600. I didn't read all the comments, but there were more than 600 comments to follow from this post, and these were business professionals speaking. And I realized in that moment, that people are mentally weak. People have become mentally weak. They really have. And I think very often and too often people just don't have the will or the desire, like you say, just to explore new information or to improve their mental faculties, and people have become very mentally and emotionally weak, very, especially emotionally, and we see it reflected everywhere around the world today. So it's a shame, it really is. But if by sharing this little bit of imparting this series of information for you is going to help to unravel something for you and inspire you to be more proactive in your own health just by having a little bit more knowledge, then sure, let's do this every day, all day.
Yes, right.
Thanks, Mukesh. Appreciate that compliment, my friend.
Yeah, I can't see the comments. So
great show, guys.
Okay, so look, we want to keep this as simple as possible. The reason people burn out or they don't want to find out is because it's just like this rabbit hole, rabbit hole off of rabbit hole off of rabbit hole. Okay, so and that's why I want the professionals to do it, and we can pass that on to you. Look, what happens is most people are researching and searching, and then they give up. They're unclear, they're perplexed, they're disorganized, bewildered, and mystified. We don't want that from our audience. Okay, it's very simple to take care of all of this, and hopefully, once you've listened to our bit, and you might turn off, I don't know, but when you listen to our bit, we'll then say to you, we have got the answer. Okay, so with that, we're gonna talk about the B complex. Now, again, this is another bit of complication, because there used to be 12 so-called B vitamins. Okay, there aren't. There are 8. There are 8. Forget the other 4. Don't go searching if you see there's 12. There are. I'll get it right here. 8. Okay, so we're just going to talk about them. There are 8.
There's still B12, so people will think.
Yeah, well, B12 is the 8th one, so we'll come to that. And that's the most well-known one, because when you get to a certain age, the doctors at the surgery always talk about B12. We'll come to that. So we're talking about water-soluble vitamins. So we might inject vitamin C at the end there, so that we get rid of the water-soluble vitamins. But let's talk about B1. B1 is called thiamine. Do you know about that one?
Yeah, it's an important factor in terms of our metabolism.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
it helps to convert nutrients into energy from the foods.
Yeah, that's it. That for you, if I didn't have any knowledge at all, the one word that I'd be interested in, it gives you energy.
Yeah.
Right? And what are the sources? How do we get that? How do we speed up the system so that we could get this B1 thiamine?
You mean what food sources?
Yeah, what's the richest food sources?
1 second. Yeah, I'm actually going to look now because I forgot. So you got sunflower seeds, which is something that I eat every day.
Yeah.
Wheat germ, which I don't eat every day, but it's a good source. And also pork is another source.
They're the 3 main. There's loads of others, but they're the 3 main ones.
Yeah.
And people say, "Well, I don't want to eat pork because it's fat." No. This is a misconception. You need fat. Trust me. Right?
Well, it depends. But it depends again, and I'm going to highlight this. It depends on the source of your pork.
Absolutely, and how it's reared.
Yeah, how it's reared. If you're getting quality pork, you don't need to eat a lot of it.
No.
And it's less. The fat is a higher quality grade, a higher grade fat, which is more. It's more accepted by your body, or acceptable for your body, as opposed to if you go buy pork from the supermarket.
What do they say? What do they say for protein? Palm size. If it's good quality, it's all you need. It's all you need. You don't need 2 slabs of steak, or and because I'm a great one. Because when I used to do pork chops, I always had 2. Always had 2. You don't. You need 1. That's all you need. And it makes it think about it. It makes it cheaper as well.
Tomorrow I'm actually cooking. I'm doing a braai at some friends. I've been invited to friends to go cook at their house.
All right. You can come cook at my house anytime.
Doing a braai, or a South African version of a barbecue, and this is why they want me to come over and cook. So I'm going to get lamb chops, and if I can, I'm going to get pork spare ribs. So you cook pork spare ribs, which is there's a little bit of meat on them, mostly bone. You cook that on the grill to begin with, as that's a nice little entree, and then lamb chops, and I'm doing a nice big fish as well on the grill.
I think you should come round and cook for all of us. So,
why not?
make a list of people all around the world, and then come and cook us.
Yeah, I'll do some live cooking shows. Why not?
Why not? Why not?
Live barbecues.
Okay.
So back to the vitamins. B2.
Yeah. I was just going to say. Yeah. All I was going to say is, when you've heard about B1, forget about it and just concentrate on the word energy.
Energy.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same for most of these. So B2 is the next one.
Yeah, so B2 is otherwise known as riboflavin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why is riboflavin good for your body? Again, it converts food into energy. Okay, so it's another, and it also assists in it acts as an antioxidant as well.
Yeah.
So we all know what antioxidants are, right? I'm sure we do.
No. Well, I know, but it makes the system work. It stops the free radicals attacking the cells and all that.
And then food sources for B2.
Beef and mushrooms I've got down here.
Okay.
Again, good quality beef. That's crucial. And again, same size.
And
You don't
organ meats too.
organ meats. Yeah. Sorry, that was the first one. Sorry, I missed that one.
Organ meats.
But,
So, your offals and stuff.
I don't particularly like all that. So I don't eat beef very often because I can't take too much iron.
Mm-hmm.
So a supplement has to be within. I have to take a supplement. Yeah.
I'll teach you a good mushroom dish, which I was
I love mushrooms.
I
can't eat them every day though, can you?
No, I can eat mushrooms most days, and I do a nice mushroom, like a mushroom stew.
I've had some of his stews; they're good.
Who
I've had
likes
some of
it?
your wife's stews as well. They're good.
My wife's stews are
Excellent.
fantastic.
Yeah, I know they are. Yeah. So that's that. I mean, that's how simple it is. So the first two were about energy and antioxidants. Done.
And
So we move on to number 3. There's only 8 of these, so we move on to number 3.
which is niacin.
Yeah.
That sounds like a psychological term or something like that. Niacin. It sounds like
It sounds like a drug as well.
yeah, it could be.
But
So
this one plays a role in cellular signaling.
Yes.
So it works with, would you believe, omega-3s from last week. Because it's about in the cellular, and it's a signaling between the cells and the rest of the body.
Yeah.
But it's got other things, isn't it?
And also the cell within itself, so within its own environment and from other cells, from cell to cell. And then it's also a very important factor in terms of DNA repair and production as well. So it works with your DNA. So that's something that you definitely want to be aware of in terms of how to get some sources, some natural sources of niacin or vitamin B3 if you can. Yeah. So pay attention.
Sorry?
So pay attention, I'm saying. That's
absolutely.
Tuna is one source. Now, most people are eating tuna in a can. If you're going to get tuna in a can, you want to maybe have it at most twice a week. All right. And also you want to have tuna in the brine, not in any form of oil, because the oil that they use, it tastes nicer, but the oil that they use is a very low quality oil. Even if it says it comes from olive oil, it's very low quality olive oil. So you want to drain that out if it is, or otherwise get it in the brine, drain it out, and then you can add your own olive oil to that. So that chicken, and lentils.
Lentils are very important, obviously, for people who can't eat, meat and fish and that.
Mm-hmm. But if you're going to get chicken, please make sure that it's, again, quality, especially quality chicken.
Grass-fed.
Yeah, if possible, yes.
If possible, yeah.
Independent farm, small farm, where it's not, they don't do mass-produced chicken, because a lot of the chicken when that's mass-produced is really bad for you.
Yeah, absolutely. All kept together, all cooped up in houses, or little houses.
They're not though. They kept in many parts. They kept in massive pens.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, all together.
But they can barely
lack of exercise, lack of grass, lack of everything, really. And I think, although you've got difficulties with food at the moment, I think they should really, really look at all this and say, how can we improve things?
It's starting to happen. There are organizations in the USA, for example, that are already looking at all of this, and they are making more and more noise about, the need to change our eating habits and how we rear our food. And there's already, for example, there's laboratories in Singapore. It's legal to buy meat that has been produced in a laboratory. And around other countries in South Africa and other countries around the world, they have companies that are producing meat that has been produced from a laboratory. So they don't kill the animal. all they do is they take gene or cell
Yeah, but is that
samples.
GMO?
No, it's not GMO.
Oh,
It's
right.
just, it's literally, so they're taking cells and they put them into a petri dish, and then they grow that. And then they grow that grows into meat like an animal would grow. All
Okay.
right. But it's not the full animal. So this is a more humane way of growing meat, and it's friendlier for the environment as well in many cases. So, and
Okay.
they're working on it, but there are companies and there are organizations that are looking into this and already taking action in this field already, and they're well ahead of the curve. So yeah.
What about our next one then? B5, pantothenic acid.
Pantothenic acid.
Hmm.
So again, surprise, surprise, drum roll, please. Energy from the food.
Yeah.
And then it's also involved in hormone and cholesterol production.
Very important. Very important. And
Especially as
we
we
don't
get
have to
older.
worry. We don't have to worry too much about this because obviously we're eating the richest sources, then we don't have a problem. However, it's a little bit like the omega-3 from last week. To eat probably enough for you, you'd have to eat tons of it. Tons of it. I mean, especially with omega-3, isn't it? You have to eat so much fish you couldn't afford it, or the average family couldn't afford it.
Yeah,
But
you need to eat. One individual needs to eat approximately. It's more than a kilogram of fish a week, and
yeah,
that's just not sustainable for most people.
no, it's not.
No.
No. Oh, I probably wouldn't want to do that anyway, but I don't know. And it's time. There's also time's a factor as well because we're busy. So, how would you get your B5?
So liver, which I love liver. But again, please, I'm stressing again, you want quality here, because especially with your organ meats, because organ meats are more, there's more density of nutrients within those meats, those organs, because this is where there's a lot of chemical processes that go on there and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you're getting quality, not just something that's thrown from a mass production farm into a bag. And you want to get something that if it's possible at all, get it from an independent farm again. Fish is another source of B5, yogurt, and avocado.
Avocado, yeah, that's the fun one. Yogurt and avocado, I like them. So, but again, you got to pay attention to what yogurt you're eating as well. So it's not as simple as it sounds. You don't want to just get one with full of sugar. So,
What the
but
yogurts?
yeah, that's why you got to read the labels. So, I mean, what about the next one? B6.
What's it called here?
Pyridoxine.
Yeah, pyridoxine.
Hmm.
So I'm reading a little bit as well because I don't know.
Yeah. We got to make sure that we get things in the right order. So we say the right things with each one. Now, after today, you don't need to know any of this. The reason we're telling it once and telling it once only, so you're aware, you've got a little bit there, that a little bit knowledge, but then you say, right, I'll go to one place and takes care of all this, and that's what we want to do.
And even if you're just listening to this call, the fact that you're listening, it's going to enter into your subconscious in any case. And every once in a while, something will happen, and it will refresh that memory a little bit for you. So you don't need to be taking notes. If you want to, by all means, do so. But just by listening and paying attention to what we're saying, it will sit in your subconscious, and then you will have sparks of memories being refreshed from time to time. But the B6 is really good for your amino acid metabolism, and amino acids are your building blocks of proteins. Okay.
Yeah.
The other important factor with B6 is red blood cell production. So red blood cells, they produce in your bone marrow. So for bones and bone density and bone strength, essential for especially as we get older. And also the creation of neurotransmitters. So we spoke about that earlier in one of the other vitamins.
Yeah.
So it's neurotransmitters here. This is creation of neurotransmitters, and we want our body to be continuously creating neurotransmitters. Okay, we don't want those dying off and not being replenished.
It's basically your electrical system, and the little chemical messengers all over your body. That all link up to the brain, and the body can't function without these. You'd be a lump of bleh. So you need all these things.
What foods are rich in B6, Paul?
Sorry?
What foods are rich in B6?
Chickpeas. Chickpeas, which I've only just started eating. I'd add them to curries and things like that now. Salmon and potatoes. So I eat all of those. So I get plenty of B6. But that doesn't stop me taking supplementation because I don't remember to eat those things all the time. So I need a little bit each day elsewhere. So
and if you want to get quality salmon, again, you're not going to be buying it all the time.
No.
When you want to buy it, the pinker the flesh, the better. The more natural the meat is, in terms of how it was reared or how it got to full size. The pinker the meat, the more natural the food is and its environment was in which it lived. The lighter the pink, the more it's farmed fish.
Yeah, pay attention because you can't fly to Alaska or go to the fields in Norway and different places like that. I don't think.
The fields
I'm just saying, the deep water and things like that, where there's not very much wrong with the water. You haven't got these mercury and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, from what I understand, there's only 3 sources of wild salmon that are used in the food market these days, and that's Australia, Alaska, and Ireland.
Ireland, okay, all right.
Norway,
they are working. There's some of these farms that do salmon, and they've been known to not to be very good. They are actually trying to improve things at the moment, so that all of these farms come up to a very, very much higher standard. They're not there yet, but they're working on it. So that probably any salmon that you buy, or most salmon that you buy, will be good. It might take some time. I don't know how long it'll take, but as you say, you are right in the locations. I don't pay a lot of attention to salmon only when I eat it. I look where it's. I always look for Alaska. I'd say. Okay. So.
No, just look. If it's a rich pink, like that rich pink color, then you know that it's a high grade. It's a quality salmon. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the next one's B7. Biotin, yeah.
Our friend biotin, which is essential for your carbohydrate and fat metabolism.
It's all about metabolism. A lot, most of these B vitamins.
Energy.
All the macronutrients, carbohydrates, fat, protein. That's what they need to break it down and use it properly. But there's also another one, gene expression, which helps to make protein, and obviously DNA and things like that.
The gene expression is it's more than just helping to make protein, but
I wanted to keep it simple.
Yeah, it's a synthesis of a functional gene product that enables it to produce end products, which is protein, non-coding RNA, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but it's essential. It's really, gene expression is an imperative part of our biological makeup.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So how would you get them? How would you get this one? What foods?
My favorite: eggs, cheese, salmon again.
Yeah.
Liver.
Your favorite liver again? Another favorite.
Actually, that's talking about liver now. I'm gonna go get some liver, and when I get the meat tomorrow for the braai, I'm gonna get some liver as well. And Did you
mention yeast?
Yeah, I didn't mention yeast.
Yeast that's the other one. So we've only got 2 left, so it's going to be pretty quick today. B9 folate, again, the old leafy green leafy greens, liver, and beans. Any form of beans, it really doesn't matter. And it help. What does it help? What does it do?
Cell growth and amino acid metabolism. So again, proteins, your protein building blocks, and then cell growth, which especially for kids is essential, and for adults as well. As our bodies start to deteriorate, formation of red and white blood cells.
Yeah,
and then proper cell division. So
hugely important. That is cell division.
Yeah. There was a band called Cell Division, I think, once before.
Oh, was there?
I think there was in the 80s or the 90s. Cell Division. But yeah, so proper cell division is obviously it's imperative. It's you're talking about when cells divide, and if they divide in toxic environments, it leads to conditions and diseases. So if you're having healthy cellular division because of the nutrients that you're taking, the vitamins that you're consuming, then all the better for you.
Absolutely. So now the last one is B12, which is cobalamin.
Mm-hmm.
So as I say, I said to you before, it's perhaps the best known one, and that's probably because when you get to a certain age, the doctors are always insistent. They'll do tests and things on that, and they'll if they think you're deficient, they will get you a B12 injection every 3 months. I think it's every 3 months. But what is it vital for, B12?
Neurological and DNA production and function, or neurological function and DNA production. Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is all these 8 B vitamins are extremely important. Where's it found, this B12? Where's it found naturally?
Red meats in particular, eggs, seafood as well, and then dairy products.
Dairy products. Yeah. See, although some of these vitamins, they've got some similarities, they all have unique things and unique functions that they do. So it's important you have all of them. Now, I'm going to mention vitamin C in a minute, but think about this. And I've said this before. Successful entrepreneurs and other people that do a lot of thinking and action as well, sometimes prepare all their meals the week before in the fridge, because they don't want to give up their thinking time. All right, because there's only so much before you start burning out. So they want to keep everything fresh. And we should all be the same in that respect, if we, because we've all got things we've got to think about. So, think about this. Are you going to go out with a shopping list thinking, I've got to get vitamin B1, B2? No, you're not. All right? Forget all that. Okay? Because, a lot of the stuff you're probably already going to get anyway. But to guarantee everything, you need, I think personally, this is my personal feeling, I don't know what Warren wants to say, is that you need a supplement. It's like the icing on top of a cake, or the cement on top of, on the bricks. You've got to finish it off to make sure that you're covered for everything. Now, remember, this is part 1. Okay, so this is just one set of things, one group of B complex vitamins that you need. So, do you want to mention vitamin C before we finish off?
Yeah, we can. We've got some time.
Only because it's a water soluble vitamin,
As well. So you want to get it all out of the way, as you said in the beginning.
Yeah, get all the water. Right. And it doesn't. Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be. We all know about vitamin C. We all know that what we're trying to do is get some kind of powerful antioxidant in us that fights off scurvy.
Yeah, so anybody that's old enough to remember the days of yore,
absolutely,
fights off scurvy. So
look, plenty of fruit and veg, and it plays an important role in the immune system, and also going back again to the neurotransmitters.
Mm-hmm.
So your whole electrical system that you've got in your body, the production, of these transmitters is very, very important. And this is the vitamin C is one of the biggest things in that. And also the collagen, the sponginess of your skin.
Us oldies, especially the sponginess, your collagen, your cartilage,
so collagen synthesis. Yeah. So if you don't get enough vitamin C, you have plenty of things. You'll have signs. You'll have signs. You'll come out in spots, and you'll have lethargy. But bear in mind, vitamin C is also for connecting tissues. So things like tendons, muscles, everything, ligaments, bones, teeth, and small blood vessels, capillaries, and things like that. So it's very, very vital for the immune system, and also for connective tissue as well. The heart and blood vessels of the heart, all these big, the aorta and things like that, all require vitamin C, and so does the blood. The red blood cells, and that's what they're all about. It's about taking oxygen throughout the body. But you can do this, and get enough vitamin C if you're prepared to go out and buy a lot of fruit and veg. Okay. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we miss it. Do you need vitamin C every day? Probably yes, because it flushes away like vitamin B.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's vitamin C is very important, but it's very simple to talk about. And I mean, if I said, well, I eat strawberries every day, I eat lemons every day,
Yeah, but how much are people eating really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You've got to take a look at what you're eating.
How much? It's like, I have a few strawberries a day. I have maybe an orange. Orange is depleted in vitamin C. Strawberries and things like that, you're not getting a lot of, it doesn't high quantities is not there. So how much are you really getting in your diet? This is the thing. And and now with what's going on in the world around us, these fruits and stuff are becoming more and more expensive for the average consumer. I went to the spa just now earlier this morning to go get some stuff that we ran out of. And I was like looking at the prices of food. I'm thinking, what? It's just it's astronomical now in terms of how much it's starting to cost. And that's it eats into everything at the end of the day. These costs, the rising costs, but
absolutely, yeah.
It makes it even more difficult for you to stay on top of things when it comes to your nutritional supplementation and so forth. But if you can get it from a single source and get more than your body actually needs, or from a single source, then good for you, and then go ahead and do so. We know a great source, by the way. We know a great place where you can get everything but from one source, and it's not that it's very cost effective. Let's put it that way. I don't want to say it's not definitely not cheap, because it is the best quality that I've ever seen or come across. That it's very, very, very much cost effective. And you're investing in your own body and your own health at the end of the day too.
You've got to invest in your own health, because if you don't do it, nobody else will.
One day you're going to end up having a massive medical bill. Hopefully you don't, but the chances of that happening as you get older, it becomes more and more of a reality, right?
Absolutely. There's a couple of things I just want to mention. First of all, I'm going to read this out, because food supplements are not intended as a substitute for a balanced and varied diet.
True.
And you must understand that. However, you then have to look at your lifestyle and ask yourself, am I getting a balanced and varied diet? Enough for me to stay healthy. Also, one of the things about nutrition, is very, very important, and nutrients. I was looking earlier, and if I can find it, I made some notes about some. I can't even find the blooming thing now. I made it anyway. I was looking at people like Amy Winehouse, Marilyn Monroe, Heath Ledger, and River Phoenix. Now, if I'm right in saying, River Phoenix died from a speedball, which is a combination of cocaine and heroin. Heath Ledger he was taking so many prescription drugs, and the mixture of them, it was to do with sleep and stress. Partly brought on by one of his roles when he played Batman, right? That he couldn't sleep and he was under tremendous amount of stress. Amy Winehouse, she died from drug overdose. Alcohol poisoning. Okay, and what was the other one? Marilyn Monroe. I think that was
also sleeping tablets.
Yeah, I think overdosing sleeping tablets.
And some medication.
Okay. They all had something in common. I can tell you now, right? Which is not mentioned, and that is a lack of nutrients, lifestyle. And doing things wrong, doing too much of things like drinking, drugs, prescription drugs, and everything else. But what they leave out is the nutrition side of it. And they all do it, and all of it.
Body's already depleted of everything.
It's depleted of everything, yeah.
It can't sustain itself with all those drugs coming into it.
Yeah.
And look, if you look at it, think of it like this, from the other side of the spectrum. If you looked at athletes now, most professional sports athletes these days, they're taking something. They have to, in order to be able to compete and survive, especially in full contact sports. They're taking something to help their bodies and aid their bodies. Whether it's legal or not, we don't know, but I can't say that. But most athletes, especially in contact sports, they're taking something for their bodies to recover and repair fast enough, and for them to have the energy and the power to do what they need to do. Okay, before muscle mass and all these kinds of things. If you look at athletes from the 80s that were on all kinds of drugs, all right, they were being pumped full of, especially your Soviet era athletes, they would be pumped full of drugs, all right, experimental steroids and stuff like that. But many of these people survived because they were fit and strong and healthy to begin with. They had balanced nutritional plans. They had quality food going into their stomachs. So their bodies were able to actually cope with that load of drugs. It's drugs no matter how you want to label it, whether it's medication, whether it's illegal, whether it's recreational, it's drugs at the end of the day. And that's causing harm to your system, to your body. But if your body, like an athlete, I'll use athletes as an example because you never heard of many cases of athletes keeling over and dying in the past. Nowadays, you hear about it because of certain other injections that people are taking. But
other things.
Yeah, other injections that people are taking, that a lot of people are taking, but it's having a negative impact on athletes. In the past, you never heard of athletes just keeling over and dying. They may have had other health issues prolonged in the long term as a result of that. For example, like there was a girl from East Germany, and they actually did a documentary on her on the sports show. There was a very famous sports show that used to be on television. I think it's probably still Trans World Sports, I think it is. And they did an interview on her many years ago, and she was a young girl in East Germany, taken to one of these academies. She became a discus thrower, if I'm not mistaken. But they pumped her so much of steroids, her body, shame, man. I mean, just think of the damage that they did to this girl, that she, at the end of the day, had to literally have a sex change to become a man, because her body had transformed to the point where she no longer could identify as a woman physically because of so she had to finish the job by having a procedure done. And it's such a shame, but she survived because her body was healthy and strong. For most people out there on the streets, they're taking all kinds of medications, but they're not supplementing their bodies with nutrients to complement that and to help their bodies to survive those medications, because they are drugs. So, it's so important to people understand the importance of taking supplements on top of a balanced and healthy diet plan or eating regime. I don't like to say diet. I don't like to use that word. but it is important, and I wanted to stress that here now because people don't realize the power behind supplementation. They really don't. They think supplements, whatever. But it's important, especially as we get older. Our bodies can no longer produce how it needs to produce in order for it to age in the correct way and at the correct pace. So we need to take something. It's got to be
Absolutely. Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point. Otherwise, you're just peeing it out.
Right. I think we'll call a halt here. All I would say, the only added thing I want to add is the fact you can get these supplements for free.
Yeah, that's a very important thing, right? Of course, especially today.
So if you're interested in that, give us a shout. Okay.
If you want to get the world's best quality supplementation for free, give us a shout.
Absolutely. So with that, we're going to be back with part 2 next week. I'm not sure which bit of it we're going to do, but it'll be on the same heading, same headline. So with that, have a fantastic week, and we'll speak to you next week.
Yeah, and please share and love this show. Share this show with as many people. Oh, that was a good one. Share this show with as many people as you can, and
comment.
Yeah, and comment. Give us your own feedback. Share your own insights, questions you may have. Don't be afraid and shy to share it in the public forum. Because the more you do that, the more engagement we end up getting on our videos and our show, and it means that our message gets across to more people.
Absolutely. So anyway, we're gone. Have a great week. Speak to you soon.
See you next